It was basically you wear down their resistance, and that's how I was trained. And in the long run, it was a very mentally exhausting and totally the wrong way to do it. You don't force people to buy something from you, or you don't force them to trust you either.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I've got Brian Huf of Modern Roofing Group on. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. It's a wild world of being a business owner out there. I know there's 100 things that might want to take your time. Thank you for letting our audience have a little bit of it.
Sure.
Talk to me about the last couple of years of your roofing company. It's a fairly new business. What are some things, like we're going to talk about 5 things you should know before starting a roofing company, or as you're starting a roofing company. We're going to pick Brian's brain for you to help you get these things out on the table, because there's probably some things that he wishes he had known before he started this company. And now you just learn through hard knocks, right? Like it's a lot of things we got to learn. But give us like a couple minute background of just you, how you got into the company and what you're up to now.
Well, my story is very boring, very similar to everybody else. I got laid off in 2010 from a professional handyman company. So I can fix anything inside or outside of a house apart from the furnace or like your appliances, but everything else I can fix. So got laid off of that. That was on the tail end of the recession. And then just started working for this one guy who had this really big house. I would just work for him for 2 years straight. It was like so much work. And then he kind of dropped off. So my next step was like, I didn't even know where to go. So it was a Craigslist ad, make $100,000 a year selling roofs. I'm like, I know how to build a roof. That's easy. So I can sell it. So cut my teeth doing that, knocking doors for a year. There was a couple of hailstorms here in Denver, and just kind of followed the storms and chased them and just turned into the typical, storm chasing roofing guy. Had a street sheet, wrote everything
Did you
down.
have the Viper sunglasses and the Oakleys
No, but I
and
did have
everything?
like
Or
the Monster Energy drinks and the,
okay, good.
wearing, have 3 or 4 shirts in your truck because you're getting sweaty. So you just change your shirt out,
Okay,
Yeah, typical
good,
stuff.
good.
Join us January 5th through the 7th at Oklahoma City Convention Center for RoofCon 2026. It's going to be amazing. I hear there's somebody special that's going to be keynoting there. I'm going to be speaking. It's going to be really, really fun. And the best part is not even the speakers at events like this. Bringing the roofing industry together, talking about all the most cutting edge technologies and new methods, the best people in the industry sharing great information, as well as having community. That's what it's all about, having community and creating relationships. So join us. That's January 5th through the 7th at Oklahoma City Convention Center.
So I basically wrote everything down. I had street sheets. I had, 3 or 4 blocks that I would knock, this block this week, the next block the next week, and then just cycle through for like 6 to 8 weeks until people finally were like, fine, get on a roof, whatever. It was basically you wear down their resistance, and that's how I was trained. And in the long run, it was a very mentally exhausting and totally the wrong way to do it. You don't force people to buy something from you, or you don't force them to trust you either. So that didn't work out. I was a parent of 4 kids and just needed the money to come in. It took forever doing it that way. So I switched over to the production part of that company and worked for them for another year. A lot of resistance because their home office was in Illinois and they were trying to do things over here. It's just like, you can't do that stuff here in Colorado. It's a different place. So,
Well, anywhere, like it's very easy to be wary of outsiders, right? That's a very common, and if you're a local business, you can use that to your advantage to say, hey, you really want to work with only local. You can really push that idea. Yeah.
yeah. And working for a company out of Illinois, the people, leave a door hanger or whatever and talk to them and say, oh yeah, we're local. And then you go on our website, like, no, you guys are from Illinois. And they would just really see through all of that. So it was very hard to sell for that company in particular. But I think it was a good thing as my first job in the roofing space to work for a company like that who was doing things really the wrong way. And it made it very difficult. It's kind of like a test to see how far I was willing to go to work hard for it. So switched over to the production department, did some stuff there, tried to make things more efficient and avoid the driving around all the time. This was before like all the digital stuff you can do online now for permitting and stuff. So you physically had to go to the building department to get the permit printed out from the person at the desk. And it was exhausting. So a couple people from that company left, went to another company. I followed them and kind of just, was trying to get a gauge on who's doing this right, who's doing a good job, taking care of the customer, building things the right way, up to code without cutting shortcuts and stuff like that. So, um, eventually made my way to a company out of Austin. They headhunted me and said, "Hey, we want you to open a branch in Denver because we know we've got storms up there, so we want to expand out of Texas." I think they had like 4 branches down there, so they headhunted me. I said, "Okay, this is not Texas." That was like late 2019, and so of course, COVID came the next spring and really shut everything down. I had a couple of sales reps under me I was training, and it was ridiculously hard to do any type of business development. I couldn't, take anyone to go play golf or set up a booth anywhere. Everything was shut down. So even door knocking, people were very, very cautious about. They would just talk to you like through the window, not even open the door. It was hard. Plus you're wearing a mask. It's like, so you really have to reinvent yourself. But I mean, the whole time was just really difficult. So the company cut everything back. They just kept one person on the payroll here at this location, let me go. And I was like, finally, because they were just really resistant to the way I needed to do things. They wouldn't give me access to any marketing or Facebook, or I had no way to spread the word that we existed other than door knocking and leaving door hangers. And they would send out direct mail to places they wanted us to knock. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This is not the way to do this. So started my own company and I said, okay, my turn. I'm going to do it the right way. All the, the wrong ways I learned over the past years. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Okay. Tell me about the right ways. So, we're going to talk about 5 ways or 5 things that you can do better on starting a roofing company, 5 things that you should be thinking about before you start it. What would you say are the most important ones? Let's start with one really important thing to be thinking about before you start your business. And this could be like with the benefit of hindsight, or you could say this is what you did first. From your perspective, what are the things that are the most important as you're starting one?
You want to know your numbers. You want to know how to build a quote so that when you're done at the end, you make money and you can walk away with some in your pocket so you can do the next job, make money on that one.
If you have been a salesperson at a roofing company, do you think that that's you generally kind of get it, or what it like? Because you came from selling for somebody else, right? Like you kind of knew what the margin was supposed to be, or what did you make as a mistake on that at the beginning, or how did you figure out what was right and wrong?
I think as a sales rep, it depends on the company you work for and how much transparency they want to give you for that. But I think nowadays more companies are helping their sales reps understand why they need to sell at a particular margin and why they need to be resistant to people who just want stuff for free. And so
What is Sorry to be interrupt you here. I apologize. What is the price per square over there right now for you on average?
I don't do the maths that way. So we
Oh,
don't,
okay.
I don't, I consider like how many squares are we doing today?
Yeah.
That goes back to Martin Pettigrew in his book and what he said, as a general consensus, oh, we're doing
The
500
roofing
squares today.
machine, by the way, folks. There's not that many great roofing books. This is one of them. The roofing machine. Go check it out. It's really, really good. And we are so lucky that we have that in the roofing industry that we have. There's like 5 really good books.
Oh yeah. As soon as I saw that book come out, I just jumped on it. I ordered that as soon as I could. So I took, some of that, what he has built and see how I could apply that to my business. But,
Mhm.
Yeah, it depends on the transparency of the company you're working for. If they just want to hide stuff and just say go sell all day and you're just the machine that brings in revenue, it you kind of are shielded from the reasons why you're doing that partially. And when you say, what do you, all the Facebook groups that are just like, what are you guys selling per square over there? How much should I sell this per square? It's like, you're never going to know what your true profits are when all you consider is cost per square or how much you're going to sell it for per square.
I think it
Um,
was just the way I'm thinking about it right now is like, you know, I think what some people think is like, okay, well, right now at my company we're doing $700 cost. This is why I'm talking about 700 bucks cost per square, and then I can just go sell for 600, and I'm gonna get more deals because it's hard to close these deals at 700. Like whatever the way you price stuff out at, we think if we go out on our own and we undercut price that we're going to be good.
for
And
about
you
6 months, maybe.
yeah. Well, yes, it's quick. It's a race to the bottom because you're never cheap enough. And like what I realized when I went out on my own from a marketing agency, from a different agency, was that there are a lot of intangibles about brand and things that people feel like they're paying for, that when you're new and you're by yourself and there's not a lot of backing or other people on the team or anything like that, then it just kind of gets devalued down to like, no, really, it's very quick. And it's like, and you accidentally sell stuff for cheaper because you have to survive.
Yeah, because you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, or whatever your situation is that you're
By the
putting
way, that's
yourself in.
super common. Talk to
Yeah.
me about
Oh
how
yeah.
to not do that because to me, that's like the number. So let's call that one number two. Like, don't rob Peter to pay Paul, and vice versa.
Right.
And Jesus, Mary, and Joseph all to get the next job done. So what is the like? How do you make sure you're not doing that? Because it seems like it's slippery slope.
I think it's your contract to paid in full process. If you have strong work orders that are very intentional about telling your crew what to do and what not to do, then you get away from doing work for free that your customer doesn't pay for, but then you have to pay your crews for because they're just there, they're doing the work, they have to get paid for it. So it's hard to go back on a change order for just, frivolous stuff that will add up. So that's part of the inspection process. When I take like 150 photos on average of every inspection so that I have every angle of every component. So I can grab one of those photos and put it in the work order and tell the crew, hey, don't touch this, or get this thing off of here, remove and replace, or detach and reset, or whatever that could be, so that your numbers on your work order are strong. And then when you have a material list put together, like we use Proline, so everything is just spit out into a material work order, or a roof install work order, or a gutter install work order. They're all split apart into those different work orders so that we review them, we attach pictures, we can draw on them, we can write on them, we can submit them and say, um, here, deliver the materials to the roof. There's a back alley, but don't use that because there's power lines or whatever it may be. All those little things really do add up so that your contract to paid in full is very short. If you're dealing with insurance, you want to talk about that process. I would not even deliver materials until that homeowner has either a mortgage endorsed check in their hand to give you and the funds are right there, or they're going to finance the whole thing and they're going to take care of insurance themselves, or they're paying cash or whatever, but organize that money to flow as fast as possible before you even incur a cost on that job.
Hmm.
So once all that is set up and the money is like literally right at your fingertips, then I would do the work and say the material. So the way we do it is we rooftop deliver materials 2 days before the install is scheduled. We deliver the materials, everything for that project that 2 days before. They get their deposit invoice automatically sent to them that same day. So they have that 2 days prior. They can pay for that deposit on their phone, ACH, credit card, however, we already have that arranged so that by the time we start the first day of work, we already have half of that project in our pocket or it's in process. So even though the project is done, we don't have any money coming out of our pocket to pay for everything because our margins are set so that that first check covers labor and material mostly. There are other marketing costs and stuff around that that may, bump up the cost of that project, but those are all direct costs to that project. So if we didn't have that project, we wouldn't have that cost, and we're not floating that money anyway. So
Mm,
your contract to paid in full process must be as short as possible. I mean, you do have to worry about, like, here you have inspections and stuff. So when it gets busy, there could be a week or two out for final roof inspection or mid roof inspection or delivery. Sometimes that helps you with suppliers. Like, hey, we can't deliver this for 2 more weeks. It's like, okay, now we have some time to figure out all the money part in between all that stuff. But
mm, good. Talk to me. Let's go to number 3. What's another thing that you think people should know before they start a roofing company? And if you don't got one, I'll pose it as a question.
Does your company want to build your brand and get more jobs in the neighborhoods you're currently working in?
The Brick by Brick playbook allows you to establish your brand, your reputation, and gain trust in any neighborhood in your service area with a series of 4 postcards sent once a week to the neighbors of your current jobs. If you want to get more work in the neighborhoods you're currently working in, get with the team at Dope Marketing and get your Brick by Brick playbook set up today.
I would really think about what you're going to say to your clients as to why you're doing this. And that comes in the form
This is
of
good.
branding. Why
Yes.
should a customer buy from you? In Colorado, I mean, like, every other house literally has a roofing business tied to that home address. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I have probably 15 other roofing companies within a 5-mile radius of my area. So you want to analyze your competition. What are they doing? What aren't they doing? What are their trust factors? That's a big thing. The transfer of certainty. How are you going to show your customer that they are going to get what they ask for? And
Hmm.
that can partially be an educational piece. They don't even know what they want to ask for because they've never done this before, or it's been 15
Mm.
years or whatever.
I'm
So,
thinking about like tons of different things that you could do to layer on that other people don't have. Like for instance, like just gonna go through a few too. And I'm sure I want to hear yours too, but I'm like right away, like there's something called shingle tomb that's like you give shingles to them afterwards. It's like a care package after your roof. Like that could be a differentiator, right? Like other people are not doing this. We are, and we feel like this is what I would want as a homeowner. So here you go. And you can market that. You can put it on your website. Like every single one of these, we give a modern roof package, at the end of it or whatever, right? I'm just giving a few fun ones just to kick this off. But like Luminail is a super like new product that's like all the nails are super bright. So like if they come off the roof, usually it's the old roof nails that are coming off. I know that this is a sore point for us all because you cannot get rid of all the nails. But even being super upfront about all the drawbacks is a differentiator, right? If if the next guy tries to play down all the problems, hey, this is not going to be loud. Oh, there's not going to be any roof. There's not going to be any nails left over. All that stuff. But you're like, if anyone tells you these things, they're bullshitting you. It's gonna be loud. I might not be there that day it's just loud. It's construction site, and we're gonna take 3 passes for nails, but there's still gonna be some. So just being honest, I think that like it could be products and it could be like clarity.
yeah, setting the expectation. Things may go wrong. Don't
Yep.
They do. And we don't think they're going to go wrong for your house because we've done an inspection. We have a 72-point inspection checklist. We've taken all the photos, but even then stuff does happen. But we're prepared for that. So even though you're going to be at work all day and something happens, we're going to fix it and then tell you about it after. So when there is a problem, we'll have a solution. And sometimes we may need your help in that solution, or it may be, rotten decking or whatever that is. The
Yeah.
most common
Yeah, that's super common. Yeah.
unpredictable thing is layers and decking. But it's like, we're going to take a video and show you and share it with you and say, hey, I've got 4 pieces of decking. They're rotted. We can't get a nail to stay in it. So we've got to replace it. There's 4 sheets on the way. And remember, we talked about this in the contract.
Yeah.
There's the first 2 are free. So these extra 2 are going to be, $75 each, whatever, is not a big deal. They're not surprised. But yeah, education and setting the expectation is a very, very big one.
But really, what we're getting down to, and Brian's saying, is you have to have differentiating features, and then you can make that. It's everything is easier if you think about all this up front. Like, spend time on this. If you're not starting a roofing company 3 months, 6 months before you're trying to sell your first deal, you should be thinking about differentiation. How is it significantly different in a remarkable way than my competitors so that I can market and sell based on those? That's going to make it way easier once you actually sitting in front of a homeowner. Okay, we are doing this. No one else is doing this, or very few other companies do this. We think it's the right thing to do. It's a high customer service, very specific thing that they're going to like attach to and want. They're going to want it. So you got to figure out what they want. You got to know what they want and try to help them. And that's why I think it's like hyper fixation on customer mindset. Like, who is your ideal customer, and getting hyper fixated on them and like, what do they really want?
We did a market research on our ideal customer. It's a modern Mia, that's her name, and
Yeah.
she drives a Tesla Model Y, and she works at Lockheed Martin as an engineer down the street. And
Nice.
she has a dog and 2.6 kids, and goes paddleboarding at the reservoir. And so
Yeah.
that's our avatar that we're trying to sell to. She's very tech savvy. She doesn't need a face to face. It's great to build relationships with people, but she's busy. She's got kids. She's got a dog. She just wants to go online, swipe through her phone, see your proposal, and then sign and accept. And then, we've done that many, many times where I've never even met the customer, or they're out of state. And it's like, it's amazing how this can be done without even physically interfacing. Whereas before, it's like, now we need to sit down at the kitchen table and look at all your brochures and your pamphlets and go through the contract. And then it's like, what if you don't sell then? Then you've wasted what, 4 hours? And then, you got all this time that you've got to go back and rethink how you're going to sell it to them again. And then, so the times we live in now are amazing. And it just makes things easier on us to help the homeowner
Do you do
understand what
proposal?
they're going to look for.
Sorry. Do you do proposals in Proline?
Oh yeah. Every single one.
So you do like the like nice cover sheet and with their like house on it, and like do you have a few like marketing pages kind of inside of the Proline proposal?
Yeah, we have those about us pages that talks about me as the owner and why I started, just to give them that why they should choose us, because our values line up with their values. Then we talk about all the stages. Ruben, our virtual assistant, he's in there too, his picture, and it goes from each image is each step of their project. And we're going to order materials. They're going to be roof loaded and all those steps in between. Then we're going to come back with a magnet, and we're going to check a nail for nails again, just like you were talking about. But it really helps them feel like we are thinking about them and almost answering the questions before they even know they want to ask them.
Would you suggest Proline to a newer roofing company in comparison? Like, let's say I'm considering AccuLynx, Job Nimbus, and some of these other ones. Would you recommend Proline versus those?
Yes. I have used all the other CRMs, Builder Trend, Job Nimbus, AccuLynx. They're all good. But I think the best thing about Proline is that it is based on a phone system, so that you're not using your personal information, your personal phone number, all those things that have to be incorporated with the other CRMs. I haven't used the other ones in a while, so things may have changed, but that's why I like Proline, is because everything's internal, everything's recorded, everything is retrievable. All that, you don't have to remember what you said to somebody. So you can just go through, listen to the conversation, or I can listen to Ruben's conversation. There's been very rare instances where the customer has told me one thing, but they told Ruben something else, and I'll just go back and listen to that, and I'll just be like, oh, that's BS. And he's not our ideal customer. I'll just, whatever that turns into. But it's great because I can go back and say, oh my God, did I say Tuesday or Wednesday? And you go back, listen to the conversation. Yeah, I said Wednesday. And then you don't look like an idiot when you have to call a customer back and say, can't remember what day that was. Could you remind me? And they're like, come on, man. So for that reason, it's great. And then everything else, the work orders, the quotes are amazing. You can really customize those. You can incorporate videos. You can incorporate all kinds of media in there. Sell sheets, you can make those custom. You can do anything really you want in there. It's really versatile. But the good thing is it's all inside Proline. You're not sidestepping with some other proposal software and then having to bring that in and then make sure your numbers in that one match your numbers in Proline so nothing gets, shortchanged.
You do work
Um,
with do you have like company cam too, or?
oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like
So
that's like kind of the two main softwares you're in a lot, or?
yeah. And then we used GAF quick measure because
Okay,
it's $20 and it's under an hour and
perfect.
it's awesome.
Do you have to use GAF products if you have GAF quick measure?
No, but their reports
Okay,
do
that's cool.
incorporate a material list that you
Yeah,
should use at the bottom of their
that's
report.
nice.
So that's
Sick.
handy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one. GAF quick measure. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I mean, you're just talking about ideal customer, getting super clear on modern Mia, and I think that that's probably underrated. When did you decide to do that, and what instigated you to doing the ideal customer profile? Because I think that that's a good thing for people to establish, and I think honestly, I say it all the time, but I don't think most people do it.
You have to think differently. When you're in a home services industry, believe it or not, not everybody is you going to be your customer. And you don't even want everyone to be your customer because there are people who buy and want different things and want different ways of doing things. So you really have to recognize and understand who you want to work with and who is going to see the value in what you're doing. So like a grocery store, everyone is a grocery store's customer because everyone has to eat. And so that's an easy one to get around. But if you're in the home services industry and you're selling roofing, not everybody values roofing like the way we do. It's not very sexy. It's not, you know, nail polish. It's not, it can be beautiful. You can do a great reveal and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, people don't get to touch and feel and use and snuggle with their shingles. It's kind of a distant purchase that they get to see, but they don't really get to interact with it like a lot of products that we want to
Well,
get.
I snuggled with my shingles. I did an overnight. I slept on the roof
Yeah.
and I kind of snuggled with them. I found the spot, the Dead Valley
Yeah.
by the, what do you call it? The chimney. I don't even know
Hmm.
what that's called. The
The
chimney. I
cricket.
was by there. Yeah, there was no cricket.
Oh,
You can imagine. You've seen it. You've seen it. There's no cricket back there. I just found like a little pocket where the water would have stayed, and
nice.
I slept there and I snuggled with some shingles one day. I was trying to do 24 hours on the roof.
Right.
Don't recommend it. They're not a great snuggle buddy. It's true.
You probably exfoliated your elbows and your knees,
I
didn't you?
did. Yeah. Yeah. They still are a little rough. I try to put some moisture on there sometimes. Well, okay. So talk to me about that ideal customer profile a little bit. Cause you're working with Lemon Seed Marketing now on rebranding. So it's going to be a new logo soon.
It is. Yeah. So
New name.
this will be no, I'm a little too old to change the name just because of all the
Yeah.
SEO and everything behind that. But the name I don't think matters so much as long as it's different. But the branding itself around it has got to be memorable and powerful and relatable. So I started off with my company was called Modern Construction Group because I just did anything related to home repairs and windows and doors and fixing siding or whatever. And then I started listening to Dave Sullivan on the Roofer Show podcast, and he's like, niche down, niche down. You need to niche down. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And so I would run around doing like replacing a pair of shutters on someone's home and then drive like 2 hours away and then like fix a dripping gutter. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then one year I was just like, all right, we're only going to do roofing and gutters and paint because those are things that I'm really good at and we can do, come in and out and make all the profit in one day. So that's when I changed the name to Modern Roofing Group. And then um, I didn't really do too much with the brand. I mean, blue and white and light blue, and that's about it. There really isn't any powerful, memorable branding behind it other than that. So I'm taking this time to really rethink and really relaunch it as something that is really personally me, and also how I can be involved in the community and how I can sponsor places. Right now, we sponsor the Columbine High School They have a big, huge Dektronics uh, board that they just bought up there. So we have our brand up there too. We're on the website all over the place. So um, our kids go there, be going there for the next 8 years, I think. So it's kind of a good place to invest some marketing.
But this is like a spot where you would come back to if you were starting over again. You're kind of like you are doing a restart a little bit, and you probably would have spent maybe a little bit more time on this on the front end if you had known how important it was. I think this is like not a mistake, but more of like you live and you learn kind of thing. And I think most people could go a little harder on the branding up front and the positioning. That's what I think about, like positioning.
Right. Are you the same colors as everybody else? HVAC is very commonly red and blue and maybe white because of hot and cold and all that stuff. So I see a lot of them like that, but then they try to, you know, change that branding a little bit. So it's almost opposite. It's like you look at that brand and you don't even, it stands out so much that it's a break away from the norm, and it's more memorable that way rather than just, your logo is the shape of a house and it says AJ's roofing on it or something like that, or whatever. So it's,
Mhm.
if there is a AJ's roofing, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I was the same way. It's like when you first start, all you care about is selling roofs. You want to go knock doors and sell roofs, and yeah, money, money. And then you get to the end of that, and you're like, did anybody remember me? Because you just look, it doesn't, nothing's memorable. I mean, they know you maybe, but at the end of the day, or next month, or even next year, their neighbor's gonna be like, "Who did your roof? Because we need our roof." They're gonna like,
Mhm.
I don't even remember." So if you're very memorable and you stand out, that is gonna be very important. But I think in the beginning, when people first start out, they don't think about marketing or branding. They're just like, whatever. It doesn't seem important until it comes down to the fact that no one remembers you or no one picks you out because you don't stand out.
All right, we got time for one more thing that you should be thinking about when you start your roofing company. What's one more big one? What's a big one? We talked about some really good ones so far. So
Um,
we even covered CRM in here. Is there any other like technologies, or do you think that people are overvaluing all this technology? You know what I mean? Like, so there's a couple different angles on this, right? There's like, oh, you need to have these two or three softwares, and then there's other people that are like, just focus on making the customer happy. Like, it doesn't, you're not going to get the perfect thing. Like,
yeah, I think it goes back to
oh,
like,
you talked, no, sorry, the last one, we were talking about your organization you're part of. You're part of a mastermind. That would probably be a good one.
yeah,
Let's talk about that. What is the mastermind that you're a part of, and would you recommend that wholeheartedly to anyone else that's in the roofing industry?
yeah, it's the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, the RSRA, with Adam Bensman. The first rule is I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the second rule is not supposed to talk about it.
Oh, okay, sweet. This is okay. This is sound like another club.
No, it's great. I mean, joining a mastermind, I think, you join a mastermind because you want to be part of a group where there's other roofing contractor owners or sales reps or whatever tier that's going to be. But when you get through, 3 or 4 meetings, you're like, we're all kind of asking the same questions to each other, and we're all kind of coming up with the same. No one's really fixing anything. So Adam's idea was to come together with people who don't always think the same, people who always don't align in the same places, so that you're getting that different perspective. You're getting different solutions and other angles to, um, there's 50 ways to skin a cat. So you're trying to figure out better or different ways to do things, because different markets need different things, and something could work in your market where it works somewhere else, but you just didn't think about it. But all the mentors that are in the RSRA, Jim Aline, John Cenac, Deshaun Bryant, Cody Landals, they are all amazing, amazing people who have done a lot of stuff in our industry to make it better. And all the content, all the information, all the downloads that you can implement into your company, all the meetings, it is amazing, amazing content in there. And the annual event we just had it was just on fire. I invited John Starry to join the RSRA. He's like, really? Is it going to be worth it? It's like, this much a month. I don't know. And I'm like, John, you got to get in there. So he joined, and I said, you coming to the annual event in Denver? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just giving him a hard time. So he came and I was just checking in on him. The first day he was just a little bit like, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And then the second day he's like, man, this thing's on fire. This place is awesome. Is nobody trying to sell you any product or trying to get you to come over to their side or buy their thing or whatever. It's just people coming together and talking and working through stuff and helping each other out. And it's an awesome place.
That's awesome to hear, man. Well, no matter what, I think just as a category, join something like that, if not that, right? Like, and I look over kind of like I love our mastermind for agencies that we have, and I think for a roofing company, something like that, and it seems like one of the best ones out there. So I
Well,
think
68% of people that apply get denied because there's such a high standard. So,
really,
yeah, I'm part of the committee, and we have our committee meeting the night before the annual event, and so Adam goes over all this stuff kind of behind the scenes. But that's a fact. 68% of people who apply do not get in because they're. One guy was like, "Hey, man, I'm doing all this stuff without a license. Aren't I clever?" And we're like, "Click, no." So there's
well,
people that.
what are the criteria so that somebody doesn't waste their time applying if they're not the type of person that you guys are looking for?
We're getting a little more strict with that, with the guidelines. You can go to rsra.org and review everything in detail. But I think for the most part, if your why is that you want to do this the right way and you want to gain a great reputation and work with people and do the right thing, you're going to be great. You're going to be a great contributor. But you also have to be very vulnerable and be very willing to, hey, you're doing that wrong. And because I've done it like that and I was wrong, I'm just going to help you and stop you from doing that because it's wrong. So it's like if you're in it for the right reasons and you align, you're going to be fine. But there's great teams in there.
Well, I'm in it to do it the wrong way, so I probably wouldn't be a good fit. But if you are that type of person, check them out. No, I mean like just to like go philosophical for a last like little bit here. Most people, I think most roofers think they're trying to do the right thing, even when there's stuff that like maybe later we realize is nefarious or
Yeah.
not quite above board. There's a lot of people that think they're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like they're doing the right thing for their family or they're doing the right thing for the homeowner. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think anyone's out there trying to do the wrong thing, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I would say so. I think we still have people who are, um, they're trying to get in and get out and then leave town, or they are,
Ah, okay.
there's, the whole deductible thing and, you
That
know,
one's okay. I'm not on the shirk deductible side for sure, but it is, well, there's a lot of, man, between manual damage and deductible eating and stuff like that, like it's not no percent of the industry, right?
right.
And like when we're talking about when you guys are talking about this with RSRA, like that's like a no go chunk of the industry, and like some people would say that's like 50% or something of the industry of stuff, weird stuff, or like stuff that's like not quite right. Is that kind of what like Adam's talking about when he's saying there's a lot of stomp out the scum in the industry? Is that what he's saying? Because it's sounds like strong language, so I'm trying to understand who he's talking about.
Yeah. It's data that we don't track. We can't track, but we hear about it later. In the RSRA, we have the availability of people to go on the website and apply to work at a local company that is a member. So we have people that fill out the form, and in their description, they say, the people I work for are teaching me how to do manual damage. I know that's wrong, but I'm stuck working here because I have these commissions coming to me. And in the meantime, I need to find a better place to work, a real organization that's doing this professionally. So we see about it that way, but then we also hear about the guys who are coming in and saying, I need to join the RSRA. I should be a member because I'm doing this all without a license. I don't have to pay for any of that stuff. I'm so clever. It's that type of mentality where they're just like, you know,
Yeah.
who are you? You need to get out of here.
Well, I think it's just good to distinguish, like there's a lot of negativity in this industry, or more like dramatics. And I think it's like good to know what we're talking about, right? Like I believe that there's probably a higher than we'd like to imagine percent doing some of that stuff. And it's hard for me as a marketer to be high and mighty, but I also know my preferences that I'd like to work with the companies doing it the right way. You
Well,
know what
think
I'm
about it
saying?
like
Like,
right now in Denver, there hasn't been a great storm that has been feeding all these roofing contractors year over year. We've had gaps. We've had spaces where there's no necessity to replace a roof um, other than a claim. So people will do that. They will manually damage the roof. I've talked to a couple of adjusters lately who have said there's ball peen hammer marks all over the roof, but there's nothing on the screens and nothing on the siding and nothing on the gutters. So you're like, did the homeowner do this or did the contractor do this? So they're trying to get that money to pay Paul that they've robbed from Peter. It's that whole, you're getting back to that where there's not enough workflow, but there's not enough money saved up for these low times in income and revenue to coast through it or to plan for
yeah.
that. So they're
Well,
creating
there's like a
damage.
storm addiction. Oh my gosh, my calendars are going nuts here. One second. There's like a storm addiction. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like I don't think anyone, just like real addicts, I don't think anyone like gets into it till I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna smoke opium with my friends in high school so that I'm like shivering on the side of the road when I'm 25 and can't get up out of bed without drugs. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same with like a roofing company that's like, no one's like, oh, I'm like, oh, there's a really good year. So 90%, 98% of our business is storm, to then 2 years later be like, I don't know if I think we should have laid people off a little faster. And now I'm addicted. Like, I have to do this. I feel like I have to do this or like let people do this. I think sometimes let people, like people are doing it and you're not calling them out. It's like, let people do this on our team because we need to keep going. And there's a lot of people here.
Right. So you do things that bring in revenue, but they're not necessarily morally good or professionally sound. And so, I mean, that's another reason why I am building my company to be revenue or to be retail first. Everything's a retail quote. I don't care where the money's coming from. If you want to pay cash or you want to finance it or you want to file a claim, the roof's going to be built the same way no matter what. So that's great if there's a storm, but you still need a roof. You going to buy another bucket or you want to just replace the roof? So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little simple terms, but that's
Mm-hmm.
the idea, is to not rely on that opium addiction of insurance claims to feed your company. And then again, you think long term, who's going to want to buy your company if you rely 100% on storms? They're going to be like, what if there isn't a storm for 2 years and we buy your company? Then all your processes don't even matter because they're not even related to how the market has shifted away from that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, new business, like we probably killed this topic over and over again, but learn how to do retail in tandem with Storm. You guys know, you know what it is, because if you don't learn financing, if you don't learn retail, it's just going to be it's kind of like pigeonholing yourself into unethical activity potentially, because if there's not a storm, you don't want to have to make there be a storm, you know? Respect to everyone out there trying to do it the right way. So I just want to encourage y'all. I don't like to be super judgy because I'm not the guy. I'm not out on roofs all the time. So,
When's the last time you had your roof inspected?
me,
Yeah.
um,
And who did it?
probably a couple of years.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
they have any process with that? Were you impressed or was this for content or?
I was unimpressed. I just didn't feel like there was a lot of information. I feel like if I'm giving somebody an opportunity to get up on my roof, and I like think there might be storm damage, and then they come down and they say no storm damage, no options. That's annoying to me. You know what I mean? Because I also potentially would buy a retail roof if you gave me a monthly payment, and then secondarily, like, give me some information, like educate me. Give me some photos or videos and then tell me where it's at. Like give me a little bit more information so that I know, like, tell me how, like, hey, maybe you could say there's probably about like 5 to 8 years left on this roof, or like just a little bit more information. And then give me an idea. My point of view is just give me a monthly payment option. Even if you're saying no insurance claim, just say, and if you ever wanted to, because like maybe I'd be a customer, which I'm about to be. I'm about to be a customer this spring. I'm planning on doing this as part of like an exterior remodel. And I'd like the monthly payment option. I might pay it all at once, but if you give me the monthly payment option, then I'm going to keep thinking back. A year or two ago, they came out and they told me it was $312 a month. Like, it's like nice, right? It's like I keep on thinking back to that $312. So just give somebody a retail option, even if it's like it's a little sad for them that they didn't get a insurance roof, you know?
How are you paying for the remodel though? Are you getting a HELOC? Are you doing some other type of, where are you getting that money from? Because if you tied the roof replacement with your HELOC, you could use all that money for that and you just borrow it from one place.
Brian, I think I'm going to do cash this time, but but who knows? Who knows? I just think like there are times where I want financing, even if I have some money in the bank, I don't want to use it, you know, kind of thing. Like I think people just need to recognize that about homeowners. It's like it doesn't matter what's like where they're at. Like if they don't seem like they're balling, they still might want to, or vice versa. Like they seem like they're doing well. Like they still might want a monthly payment. I think just give them that, and like they'll at least have that option back in the back of their head if they don't do it right at that moment.
Right. Because like with insurance claims, you're going to get cash from your insurance company. But if you finance the project, you take all that cash and you do something else with it. You buy a boat, or you go on vacation, or you pay off a credit card, and they just have manageable payments. So even if you file a claim and you're getting insurance money, you don't have to use that directly for the project. You could do that because it's a cash form. It's like people don't really think about that until it's in their hand. Like, oh my God, I got all this cash. And then they are like, okay, just pay for the project. But the other option is you could do other things with it that will help your financial score or help you financially position yourself just to get another step ahead in that situation. I mean, filing a claim is not a profitable transaction. Not supposed to make money as a homeowner filing a claim. You're just supposed to get the work done. But this way you are leveraging that to position the cash. You can use that towards something else. And then the financing covers the cost of the project. You get reimbursed after it's over, zero balance final invoice, send that in, you get the money back. And so you could do whatever you want with it.
100%. I mean, Brian, I appreciate you being on. Thank you for all the awesome tools and ideas you shared with us. You've given the people that are starting from where you were just a few short years ago an upper hand, which I think is ultimately all we get to do. As you know, sometimes it's tough being a small business owner, and I think like when it comes down to it, if we could just try to help people a little earlier than us, then we don't feel so ashamed when we have to ask these other big dogs for help. And it's really cool to see how generous people can be. I'm sure, again, like that group that you're a part of, RSRA, that like that's a part of the philosophy there, which I think like people don't, I don't think I always realize that there are a lot of people that want to be generous with their information.
They do. And that's amazing. Yeah. It's a great group. Check them out.
Can you say that.com too one more time? And then where can people check you out?
Yeah, the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance is at rsra.org. And you can check us out at modroofgroup.com. And you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at brian@modroofgroup.com. And that's Brian with an I spelled correctly.
Yes, sir. Thank you everyone for being on, and I appreciate your time. And check us out at hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social media, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
So Rilla allows you to listen to, it's an AI in your pocket, listens to the appointment.
It's pretty crazy what it can do. It gives a script, it gives everything they said, it breaks down some statistics for you.
Analyze talk ratio, interactivity, like how you and I are interacting back and forth, longest modeling, like all those
Honestly,
things.
this is the shit that I most believe in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enhancing the
You're
user
about to put
experience.
math and data around something that used to be my magic skill.
They're so thorough with every detail of the website. Working with Hook, the design is probably 50x better than any other design I've ever had. Their team is super communicative, and I mean this genuinely. I'm happy to pay you guys to work with us. It's been a tremendous experience.